There are days when you wonder whether you are truly becoming the person you have been praying to become. You look at yourself and still notice weaknesses. You still remember failures. You still see areas where growth seems slower than you expected. But you are measuring your life one day at a time while I see the entire journey. I remember where you began. I remember the fears that once controlled every decision. I remember the nights when anxiety refused to let you rest. I remember the moments when hope seemed almost impossible to find. Look again. You are no longer standing where you once stood. You may not yet be where you desire to be, but you are not the same person you used to be. Growth is often invisible while it is happening. A child does not notice becoming taller every morning. A tree does not hear its roots growing beneath the ground. The sunrise does not rush across the sky. Everything beautiful develops patiently. The same is true in your own life. Stop expecting transformation to happen overnight. Continue choosing faithfulness. Continue choosing obedience. Continue choosing peace. Every decision made in truth is quietly shaping the future I have prepared for you. Do not allow discouragement to convince you that small steps have no value. Every great journey has always been made one step at a time. Every strong relationship has always been built one conversation at a time. Every peaceful heart has always been formed one surrendered burden at a time. The little things matter far more than you realize. A single decision to forgive can change an entire family. A single conversation filled with compassion can redirect another person's life. A single prayer offered with faith can begin a miracle that continues for generations. Never underestimate what I can accomplish through simple obedience. Many people spend their lives waiting for extraordinary opportunities while ignoring the ordinary moments already placed before them. They believe purpose begins someday in the future. Purpose begins today. Purpose begins with how you speak to people. Purpose begins with how you respond when life becomes difficult. Purpose begins with honesty when dishonesty appears easier. Purpose begins with kindness when bitterness feels justified. Purpose begins with trusting me even when no one else understands your journey. Faithfulness in ordinary moments prepares you for extraordinary ones. Remember David. Before anyone saw a king, I saw a shepherd who remained faithful when nobody was watching. Remember Joseph. Before anyone saw a ruler, I saw a servant who refused to compromise his integrity. Remember Ruth. Before anyone celebrated her story, she quietly remained faithful in ordinary work. None of them knew what I was preparing. They simply continued trusting me where they already were. That is all I ask from you. Be faithful where you stand today. Do not wait for another season before deciding to trust me. This season matters. This day matters. This conversation matters. This decision matters. Everything becomes part of the story I am writing. Sometimes you become frustrated because other people seem to move ahead more quickly. Do not compare your assignment with theirs. Comparison has stolen peace from countless hearts. You only see what happens on the surface. You do not see the hidden battles. You do not see the private prayers. You do not see the years of preparation. Everyone carries a story, only I fully understand. Trust the pace I have chosen for your life. I know exactly what is required before the next chapter begins. Nothing is late. Nothing is forgotten. Nothing has escaped my attention. There are blessings I have delayed because they require a stronger foundation. A blessing received before wisdom often becomes a burden. Success without humility often becomes destruction. Influence without character often leads people away from truth. Because I love you, I prepare your heart before I enlarge your responsibilities. That preparation is one of my greatest gifts. Never mistake preparation for rejection. Preparation is evidence that I have not forgotten my promises. Many of the greatest miracles begin long before anyone recognizes them. Before Lazarus walked out of the tomb, there was silence. Before the walls of Jericho fell, there were days of walking. Before Joseph stood before Pharaoh, there were years inside prison. Before David wore a crown, there were years in lonely fields. Again and again, I showed my children the same lesson. Do not judge the story before I finish writing it. The middle of the story often looks nothing like the ending. That is why hope remains so important. Hope is not pretending everything is easy. Hope is trusting that my purpose continues unfolding even when life becomes difficult. Hope remembers that my promises are stronger than temporary circumstances. Hope refuses to surrender because it knows my character never changes. Whenever your heart grows tired, return to what has already been proven. Have I not carried you before? Have I not opened doors no one expected? Have I not strengthened you after every difficult season? Have I not provided when you wondered how everything would work out? Remember my faithfulness. Memory strengthens faith. Gratitude strengthens hope. Worship strengthens peace. Do not spend all your energy remembering your disappointments. Remember my goodness. Train your heart to notice where I have already been working. The more grateful you become, the more clearly you will recognize my presence in every part of your life. Never believe that I only work through dramatic miracles. Sometimes my greatest miracle is changing the heart that has been carrying fear for years. Sometimes my greatest miracle is teaching someone to forgive after deep betrayal. Sometimes my greatest miracle is giving peace to a mind that once knew only anxiety. Those miracles cannot always be measured by the world, but heaven celebrates every one of them. Do not become distracted by voices that constantly produce fear. The world will always offer another reason to worry. Another crisis, another uncertainty, another prediction. If you build your life upon those voices, peace will always remain far away. Build your life upon my truth instead. My promises have outlasted every generation. Empires have risen and fallen. Kings have come and gone. Nations have changed. Cultures have changed. But my word has never failed. What was true yesterday remains true today. What is true today will remain true tomorrow. Stand upon that foundation. Whenever you feel uncertain, return to my promises instead of your fears. Whenever confusion increases, spend more time in my presence instead of searching for answers everywhere else. Peace grows where my presence is welcomed. Wisdom grows where humility remains. Strength grows where dependence upon me becomes greater than dependence upon yourself. Do not become ashamed of needing me every day. Branches never apologize for depending upon the vine. Children never apologize for depending upon their father. You were created to live close to me, not occasionally, not only during difficult seasons, but every day, every moment. Allow your life to become a continual conversation with me. Speak with me when you wake. Speak with me while you work. Speak with me when you rejoice. Speak with me when you struggle. Nothing is too small to bring before me. I delight in walking through every part of your life with you. One day you will stand at a place where you can see the entire journey behind you. You will remember the nights you cried. You will remember the prayers that seemed unanswered. You will remember the waiting that felt endless. Then suddenly you will understand. You will see connections you could never see while living through them. You will recognize that closed doors protected you. Delayed answers strengthened you. Unexpected detours redirected you. Hidden seasons prepared you. Every chapter had purpose. Every lesson carried wisdom. Every trial produced strength. Every act of faithfulness became another stone in the foundation of the life I was building. Until that day arrives, continue walking without fear. Continue trusting without hesitation. Continue loving without becoming bitter. Continue forgiving without keeping score. Continue praying without losing hope. Continue believing even when your eyes cannot yet see what your heart is expecting. Everything is moving according to a wisdom greater than human understanding. The future is secure because it rests in my hands. The next chapter is already being prepared. Keep your heart open. Keep your spirit humble. Keep your eyes lifted. And continue walking forward with quiet confidence, knowing that every faithful step is bringing you closer to the beautiful purpose that has been waiting for you from the very beginning. Life will always present moments when you have a choice between fear and faith. The circumstances may remain exactly the same, but your response can completely change the direction of your heart. Fear asks, what if everything falls apart? Faith asks, what if my promises are still true? Fear focuses on what is missing. Faith remembers everything I have already provided. Fear keeps your eyes fixed on the storm. Faith reminds you that I have always been greater than every storm you have ever faced. Think about how many times you believed you had reached the end of the road. How many times did you say to yourself, I don't know how I will get through this? Yet you did. Not because you possessed extraordinary strength. Not because every problem suddenly disappeared. But because I remained faithful. Every chapter that once frightened you eventually became another reminder that I never abandoned you. The same will happen again. The situation you are facing today will not remain this way forever. The seasons always change. Winter never has the final word. Night never prevents the sunrise. Rain never lasts forever. The same God who established those rhythms within creation continues working through the seasons of your own life. When you cannot see growth, continue planting. When you cannot see answers, continue praying. When you cannot see the road ahead, continue walking. Faithfulness is often choosing the next right step before you can see where it leads. Do not underestimate the value of consistency. One prayer each day. One chapter of scripture each day. One act of kindness each day. One decision to forgive each day. One moment of gratitude each day. These small decisions seem ordinary, but they slowly build a life that remains steady when everything else begins to shake. Strong faith is rarely built through one extraordinary experience. It is built through thousands of ordinary moments spent trusting me. Many people want dramatic miracles. Few appreciate daily grace. Yet daily grace has carried you farther than you realize. The strength to get out of bed. The wisdom to make one more good decision. The courage to apologize. The humility to forgive. The peace to remain calm during difficult conversations. These are gifts. These are miracles. These are reminders that my spirit continues working within you. Do not overlook them simply because they arrive quietly. Sometimes you ask why I allow waiting. Waiting reveals where trust truly lives. When everything happens immediately, patience is never formed. When every prayer is answered instantly, perseverance never grows. When every door opens without delay, gratitude often becomes shallow. Waiting teaches the heart to value my presence more than immediate results. That lesson becomes one of life's greatest treasures. Never believe that your value depends upon your productivity. The world constantly tells people they are only as valuable as what they accomplish. That has never been my message. Your worth was never earned. Your worth was established long before you achieved anything. You are valuable because you were created with purpose. You are loved because love is my nature. Nothing you accomplish could make me love you more. Nothing you fail to accomplish could make me stop loving you. Rest in that truth. Allow it to quiet the constant pressure to prove yourself. You do not need to earn what has already been freely given. There will always be people who misunderstand your journey. Some will only see your present circumstances. They will never know the battles you fought in secret. They will never know the prayers that carried you. They will never know the tears that strengthened your compassion. That is all right. You do not need everyone to understand your story. You only need to remain faithful to the one who already knows every chapter. Do not allow criticism to distract you from your purpose. Do not allow praise to become your identity. Remain steady. Remain humbled. Remain teachable. Keep your eyes fixed on what truly matters. Whenever discouragement begins whispering that nothing is changing, stop and remember where you used to be. Remember the fears that once controlled every decision. Remember the wounds that once seemed impossible to heal. Remember the habits that once held you captive. Look carefully. You are not the same person anymore. Growth has already happened. Healing has already begun. Wisdom has already increased. Peace has already become stronger. Do not ignore the miracles simply because they happened gradually. Gradual transformation is still transformation. One day someone will ask how you remained hopeful through difficult seasons. They will expect you to describe extraordinary strength. Instead, you will simply tell them about ordinary faithfulness. You kept praying. You kept trusting. You kept showing up. You kept believing. And day after day, without even realizing it, I was building something inside you that no storm could destroy. That is how lasting faith is formed. Not in one moment, but through a lifetime of choosing trust again and again. So continue walking without fear. Continue expecting goodness. Continue believing that every step taken in faith matters. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is forgotten. Nothing is beyond redemption. The story is still unfolding. The pages ahead are filled with hope. Keep your heart open. Keep your spirit willing. Keep your eyes lifted. The road before you may still hold challenges, but it also holds blessings you cannot yet imagine, prayers you have not yet seen answered, and moments that will one day remind you that my faithfulness never failed for even a single day of your life. There is something your heart needs to remember today. You were never created to carry tomorrow before it arrives. Yet so often you wake up already exhausted because your mind has traveled into days that have not yet come. You imagine conversations that have not happened. You fear problems that do not yet exist. You search for answers to questions that have not even been asked. In doing so, you lose the peace I have already placed within today. Slow down. Take a deep breath. Be still for a moment. Listen carefully. I have never asked you to understand your entire future. I have only asked you to trust me with your next step. When I led Israel through the wilderness, I did not reveal the entire journey on the first day. I gave direction one step at a time. During the day, the cloud moved before them. During the night, the fire gave them light. They simply followed where I led. They did not need to know where every mountain stood or how every valley would end. They only needed to stay close to my presence. Nothing has changed. I still lead my children the same way. One day at a time. One decision at a time. One act of faith at a time. Many people miss the joy of today because they spend all their strength worrying about tomorrow. But worry has never solved a single problem. It has never added one peaceful hour to your life. It has never opened one door. It has never healed one wound. It has only stolen moments that could have been filled with gratitude. Do not give worry that authority over your life. Instead, begin noticing my faithfulness. Notice the breath within your lungs. Notice the strength you still have. Notice the people who truly love you. Notice the opportunities already standing before you. Notice the quiet moments where peace unexpectedly fills your heart. These are not coincidences. They are reminders that I am constantly working. Sometimes you ask me for extraordinary miracles, while overlooking the ordinary miracles surrounding you every single day. The sunrise is a miracle. The beating of your heart is a miracle. Forgiveness is a miracle. Peace after anxiety is a miracle. Hope returning after disappointment is a miracle. A changed heart is one of the greatest miracles heaven has ever known. Do not overlook the quiet ways I continue working within you. There were days when anger controlled your thoughts. Now you choose forgiveness. There were days when fear made every decision. Now faith has begun replacing fear. There were days when anxiety stole your sleep. Now peace visits your heart more often than before. This is my work. Do not underestimate it. Transformation rarely happens all at once. It happens little by little. One prayer, one lesson, one act of obedience, one surrendered burden after another. Eventually, you look back and realize you have become someone completely different from the person you once were. Many people believe miracles always happen instantly. Sometimes they do. But often my greatest miracle is steady transformation. I am more interested in changing your heart than changing your circumstances. Because once your heart has been transformed, no circumstance can easily steal your peace. Remember Joseph. He spent years in places he never wanted to be. He could have become bitter. He could have abandoned hope. He could have believed I had forgotten him. Instead, he remained faithful. He continued serving. He continued trusting. Then one ordinary morning, everything changed. One conversation, one opportunity, one moment. Years of waiting suddenly made sense. Never forget how quickly I can change a situation. People count years. I can transform everything in a single day. That is why you must never give up simply because nothing appears to be happening. Invisible does not mean inactive. Silence does not mean absence. Waiting does not mean rejection. Many answers are already moving toward you even though you cannot yet see them. There are people I am preparing to meet you. Conversations I am arranging. Doors I am opening. Blessings I am protecting until the proper time arrives. Do not rush what my wisdom has chosen to develop slowly. The strongest trees grow the deepest roots. The greatest leaders often experience the longest preparation. The brightest testimonies usually come after the darkest nights. Your waiting has purpose. Your struggle has purpose. Even your tears have purpose. Nothing placed into my hands is ever wasted. Not your failures. Not your disappointments. Not your questions. Not your waiting. I redeem everything surrendered to me. Even the mistakes you regret can become part of the story through which my grace is revealed. Stop believing that your past has more authority than my mercy. It does not. Stop believing that your weakness is greater than my strength. It is not. Stop believing that your future is determined by yesterday's failures. Your future is determined by my faithfulness. The enemy constantly reminds you where you have been. I constantly remind you where you are going. Choose which voice you will follow. Every day that decision shapes your life. Fill your mind with truth. Speak hope over your future. Refuse to agree with fear. Refuse to live as though I have abandoned you. I have never abandoned one of my children. Not once. Not ever. Even during the seasons when my hand seemed hidden, my heart remained completely committed to your good. One day you will understand why certain prayers received different answers than you expected. You will understand why some relationships ended. You will understand why some opportunities disappeared. You will understand why certain delays protected your future. Until then, keep trusting. Keep praying. Keep believing. Keep opening my word. Keep filling your heart with gratitude. Keep walking in obedience. Do not become discouraged because progress feels slow. Great things are being built inside you. Your faith is becoming stronger. Your wisdom is becoming deeper. Your compassion is becoming greater. Your peace is becoming more stable. The person you are becoming is preparing you for the future I have already prepared. Walk confidently into this day, not because you know everything that will happen, but because you know the one who already does. Walk with peace. Walk with courage. Walk with expectation. The story is not over. The best chapters have not yet been written. Keep your eyes lifted. Keep your heart open. Keep trusting. Everything is unfolding according to a wisdom far greater than your own. And one day you will look back over every step of this journey and discover that my goodness was leading you all along.